Islamkot, a forgotten town, shrouded in mist and fear. It stood on the edge of a desolate moor. The house was once grand. Now it was a decaying mansion, its windows like empty eyes staring out at the world. The house was called Blackwood Manor. Locals spoke of it in hushed tones. They said it was cursed. They whispered of the family who lived there. They died tragically, their souls forever trapped within the walls. Blackwood Manor had seen love, it had seen laughter, but it had also seen darkness, betrayal, murder. These events stained the manor. They left an echo of despair, a palpable sense of dread. The old caretaker told stories, tales of the Blackwood family, their tragic end. The father, a wealthy merchant driven mad by grief. He had killed his wife, then himself. The daughter, a beautiful girl, she vanished the same night. Some said she ran away. Others whispered of foul play. Her room remained untouched, a shrine to a lost child. The caretaker swore he heard things, footsteps in the dead of night, a child's laughter echoing in the empty halls. He said the house remembered. It held onto the pain, the sorrow, and it wouldn't let go. One tale was particularly disturbing. The ghost of the girl. She was often seen, a fleeting glimpse of white or the sound of her mournful cries. But no one stayed long enough, not to truly see her. A group of friends arrived in Islamkot, young and adventurous. They were drawn to the legend of Blackwood Manor. They came seeking thrills, unaware of the darkness that awaited. There was Sarah, the skeptic, John, the jock, Emily, the timid one, David, the practical one, and Chris, the leader. They dismissed the stories as folklore. They were eager to explore the manor. They entered the house. The air grew heavy. The silence was deafening, broken only by their own nervous laughter. They felt a presence, watching them, but they couldn't see anyone. As they ventured deeper, the atmosphere changed. A chill ran down their spines. The air grew thick with the scent of decay. And something else. Something metallic. Something that made their stomachs churn. The first night was uneventful, or so they thought. Emily saw her first, a flicker of movement. At the edge of her vision, a small girl, dressed in white. The girl disappeared when Emily blinked. She dismissed it as a trick of the light. But the image lingered in her mind. The girl's eyes, hollow and sad, filled with an ancient sorrow. That night, Emily heard whispers, coming from the walls, from the shadows. She couldn't make out the words, but the voice was unmistakable. A child's voice, filled with a deep, unsettling sadness. The whispers grew louder, closer. Emily pulled the blanket over her head. She tried to block out the sound, but the voice seemed to pierce through her very being, filling her with a sense of dread she had never known. Section 5. Night of Terror. The next day they found a hidden room. It was the girls' room. The air was cold there, heavy, as if a weight pressed down on their chests. John saw her. This time it was undeniable. The girl stood in the corner, her back to them. Her long black hair cascaded down her back. She was humming a haunting melody. A chill ran down John's spine. He called out to her, but the girl didn't turn. Instead, she vanished into thin air, leaving behind a lingering sense of unease and the faint scent of decay. That night, the nightmare began. They were awakened by screams. It was Sarah. She was thrashing in her sleep, mumbling about the girl, about a well, about a terrible secret. Section 6. The Attic's Secret. They ventured into the attic. The air was thick with dust and cobwebs. A single window cast an eerie glow on the clutter, and then they saw it. A doll, lying on a dusty old trunk. The doll was beautiful, but its eyes were unsettling. They seemed to follow them as they moved. It was as if the doll itself was watching them, studying them. David picked up the doll. It felt strangely cold in his hands. He could have sworn he felt it move. A faint heartbeat. He quickly put it down, his heart pounding in his chest. That night, the doll vanished, and the haunting intensified. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. They were surrounded by unseen eyes, trapped in a nightmare they couldn't escape. Section 7. Face to Face. Chris decided they had to leave. The house was too dangerous. But as they packed their things, they heard a noise, a soft sob. Coming from the girl's room, they slowly opened the door, and there she was. The girl, sitting on the floor, her head in her hands. She looked up. Her eyes met theirs, and they were filled with a depth of sorrow that chilled them to the bone. She spoke. Her voice was a whisper, barely audible, but they heard her words. "Help me," she pleaded. "They threw me in the well. Please help me." They were frozen, unable to move, unable to speak. The girl rose to her feet. She took a step towards them, and then she was gone, vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a bone-chilling cold. Section 8. Escape from Islamkot. They ran, out of the room, out of the house. They didn't stop running until they were miles away from Islamkot. The memory of the girl's eyes haunted them. The sound of her voice echoed in their ears. They never spoke of what they saw. Not to each other, not to anyone. But they couldn't escape the feeling that they had left something behind in that house. Something dark. Something evil. Blackwood Manor stood alone once more, silent and watchful, its secrets buried deep within its walls, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to cross its threshold, to become another victim of its haunting embrace. The town of Islamkot remained shrouded in mist and fear, its inhabitants whispering tales of the haunted manor on the hill, a chilling reminder that some places are best left undisturbed. Section 9. A Haunting Reality. Years later, a group of construction workers were hired to demolish Blackwood Manor. As they tore down the walls, they uncovered a secret, a well, hidden deep beneath the house. At the bottom of the well, they found a doll. It was the same doll that David had found in the attic. But this time it was different. Its eyes were open, and they were staring up at them, filled with an accusing gaze. And then they heard it. A soft sob, echoing from the well, a child's voice, whispering a name, Sarah. The workers fled in terror, leaving the doll and the haunting secrets of Blackwood Manor undisturbed. Was it all real, or was it the echoes of a tragic past, amplified by their own fear? The answer, like the mist that clung to Islamkot, remained elusive, a haunting reminder that some truths are better left buried.